I do want to start though, Megan, that we have a personal connection
This
Do
is
we?
exciting.
Yeah.
that I just found out about.
Uh-huh.
And the personal connection is a little bit of you.
Yes, nice. And it's a good time to be chatting too, right? Like we're riding the high at the
I'm
moment.
wearing
So,
red still, just
yeah.
riding the high. Elizabeth,
Yeah.
I just found out that Megan graduated from IU. What year did you graduate?
2001, and I attended the South Bend campus. So I was
Oh,
not
okay. It
at
still counts.
Bloomington. Yes,
Still
yes. It's still
counts.
an IU degree. Yes.
Oh
Did
gosh.
you grow up in Indiana?
I did. Yeah, around South Bend. I grew up just south of South Bend, literally in the middle of a cornfield. And then I moved to South Bend to attend college and stayed there before coming down to North Carolina about 10 years ago.
Oh
Okay.
wow. Okay,
I
so
am
was
from,
writing on your radar then,
yeah.
Megan?
Oh yeah, I always wanted to be a writer. I mean, since I was a young kid, I actually didn't remember at what age I first said I wanted to be a writer.
Wow.
And then when I graduated high school, our second grade teacher, unbeknownst to us, had saved these worksheets that we had done in her class. And it was one of the worksheets was, like a survey of ourselves with, questions and answers. And one of them asked what we wanted to be when we grew up. And I had put down in second grade that I wanted to be a writer. And I didn't remember that. I was already, planning to pursue. I started as journalism after graduation, and getting that packet of worksheets from that second grade teacher at graduation was just like this renewed sense of purpose that I was headed in the right direction, that this had always been on my radar.
Oh my
Oh, I
gosh,
love
what an
that.
amazing teacher. That's
Yes.
incredible.
That
Yes.
is so great. Okay. Well, we talked a lot about life in the 1950s in
Mhm.
our book club, and a lot of our viewers skew a little older. So maybe
Mhm.
they were a child in the 1950s and remember that time, or they can kind of relate to that because they know a lot about their grandparents. But what drew you to that time period?
Yeah, it's a combination of factors, really. It started really because of my second book, The Girls We Sent Away, which is set in 1965, and that has to do with the practice of maternity homes and what we now call the baby scoop era. And it was in that book that I mentioned a Jello salad, kind of in passing. And the Jello salad was sticking in my mind. And I was also still thinking about the mother character within this book. And a lot of readers kind of view that mother as the villain of the story because she sends her daughter away to a maternity home. And I really thought, I think there's more dimension to this mother. And I started thinking more about her background and what life would have looked like for her just a few years prior to where the girls we sent away started. And so I was really fascinated with the idea then of going deeper into that era, that time period. And, so the 50s were on my mind because of that. But then as I fell down the rabbit hole of research as far as hysteria is concerned, I realized that the 50s was the perfect setting for the story, in part because of the crossroads, the intersections that came together of things like the introduction of the first mild tranquilizer, Milltown,
Yeah.
and the fact that electroshock therapy was being practiced and that lobotomy was still on the scene as well. And then we can also talk about parenting choices and the fact that it was an era where kids were really to be seen but not heard, and in a lot of ways, not even seen. And that was also essential to the setup of the story that I was telling. And so it was a combination of factors that really came together for me to realize that the 50s was the time period that the story needed to be told in.
Oh, so good. I mean, the 50s were such it's a character. I mean, the setting is
Mm.
such a character in the book. And I think one thing that I really liked about the book, which by the way, we loved it. It was so fun to read. I felt like I was just along for the ride, soaking up the story. And that was one thing that I thoroughly enjoyed about it. I wasn't overly trying to figure out like, what's going to be the twist? When's the bottom going to drop out? I was just like, I'm in it with her. I just want, I'm just like along with her. And I loved that type of reading experience. I thought that was so enjoyable. But the 50s, it's a reminder that we are not just a product of the people that were around, but we're such a product of our environment and the
Yeah.
time and societal expectations, which I think is actually really freeing because
Mm.
you can reduce the pressure that you put on your parents, for example,
Mm.
to have been so perfect because they're doing the best they can with the parameters that they have. I mean, you're talking about the Jello salad and the lobotomy and all these things that it's like those are weird things. And
And they
like it was
existed.
only happening then, you know?
Right. And we have weird things now too, right?
Yes.
I mean, who knows in another 20, 30 years what is historical fiction going to look like in regards to the examination of the time we're living in as well? I mean, well, it's already wild enough as we're living through it in the moment, but you know, I think of things like my dad told me about when he was a kid and he would go into a shoe store for a short period of time. They had X-ray machines in the shoe store. So you could put your foot into the X-ray machine and see how it fit within the shoe. I mean, these are
And just
X-rays.
get a dose of radiation and
Exactly, exactly. Or my mother-in-law would tell about how in science class in high school, they would literally play with mercury. They would roll it
yes.
around in their hands. And so, and my father-in-law told stories about chasing the DEET truck through town. And so as it is like fogging out the insects, the kids are riding their bikes or running along behind it and just inhaling all of these toxins. And so I can't help but wonder, like, what are those wild things going to be that we're re-examining in a few more decades as to what this era is?
Oh my
But
gosh,
yeah,
Megan, if you live in my life, you're already stressed out about those things every single Kelly's like,
so
oh,
true.
Elizabeth will start
She's
listing
like,
all the
"What's
things.
coming?" It's funny, when you were mentioning the things that your dad said, and,
Mm,
my mother has talked about so many times, and she was born in 55. She's
mm,
talked about so many times in health class, they would write on the board, the
mm.
teacher wrote the weight of every student in the class.
Oh no.
So, like, and that was a
No.
normal
Yeah,
thing.
Right.
yeah,
Like, can you imagine?
yeah.
So, yes, when
Hmm.
we're 70, this right now is historical fiction. It'll be really interesting to see what's written.
So
It will be.
fascinating.
Yes.
I
Yes.
want to ask also about the perspective of Henry, the husband.
Mhm.
So if you read the book and you know Henry and Lulu's relationship, I thought it was like I loved the choice that you made to not make him the villain. I think that
Mhm.
would have been the easier choice to
Yep.
make him the villain, and I think that the more complex, nuanced relationship was having them also just she loved him and she
Mhm.
was in love with him, but it was complicated. And I think that's a realistic
Mhm.
depiction of marriage versus I either hate him or I'm madly in love with him.
Right, right. Reality is nuanced, right? And that's what I wanted to come across in their relationship and in their dynamic together. And, you know, as you also pointed out, we are products of our time. And so while there are moments within the story that you're questioning if Henry is the villain, I mean, you know, the dishwasher. The
Oh,
dishwasher
the
was not going
dishwasher.
to solve everything. He was not fully seeing his wife in that moment. But that's also the nuance that we need to explore is also we're getting the perspective of Lulu the entire way through, right? And there comes a point when we need to question the reality or the reliability of Lulu as the narrator because her focus is very, very narrow. And so as the story goes on, my hope is that the readers will then start questioning, okay, this is Lulu's perspective, but what is Henry's? Like, sure, the dishwasher is annoying when, you know, he brings that up, but what is his perspective as the story unfolds and as we get more of the fullness of the picture of what's really happening? Then I hope the readers will go back and re-examine those moments and realize he is a product of his era. He was trying in some way, but in the end, it was essential for me to make sure that the point came across that yeah, marriage is complicated, it's difficult, especially, you know, when we are focused on our experience, but when we can broaden and consider the other's experience as well. And I did not want him to be the villain of the story because you're right, that would have been the easy route to take. But what I
Mhm.
wanted to explore is a marriage that's really more realistic than sometimes what's portrayed on the page.
Yeah.
And we didn't know that there was grief involved. That
Right.
was the twist. We had
Right.
no idea. I mean, obviously, he's dealing with his own grief in his own way. So when he shuts the door to his office,
Hmm.
that's maybe his way of dealing with the
Right.
blinding grief that he's experiencing. I want to
Hmm.
talk about that twist. And I'm always
Mhm.
curious to talk with an author when there is such a big twist in the story, which I think none of us saw coming. None of us saw coming.
No.
So, at what point did you decide that was going to be the twist? Was that how the book got its start? Was that something you developed as you wrote?
Yeah. So, really, there are two twists within the book. And the one twist of misdiagnosis was essential from the get-go. I knew as I was falling down that rabbit hole of research of hysteria and just astonished by this blanket diagnosis that was just a catch-all that, could overlook what's really going on in a woman, whether it was just simply, housewife syndrome and being bored, or whether it was something that actually needed to be medically addressed, right? And so that twist of the misdiagnosis was always there from the onset of the idea. The other twist, that one still came shortly into the development of the idea, but I had never, this is my third book, and I had never written a book with such a twist to it. And I tend toward quiet literary stories, and I thought, oh no, am I capable of pulling this off? And so I actually enlisted the help of my daughters. So my one daughter was 15 at the time, my other one was 13 at the time. And my 15-year-old, she was with me from the beginning of the idea. And she helped me kind of work through the story. And then we kept the younger one in the dark. And then once I had a solid draft together, I just gave it to her and didn't tell her anything, because both of them have a way of spotting a plot twist like nearly immediately within a story. And so I thought, if I can fool them, then I think that I am okay, because if I didn't pull the twist off, the story would just fall flat. It would
Yeah.
not be as engaging. So they helped me with that development. When my younger one read it and didn't see the twist coming, I thought, okay, I'm onto something. I think I'm moving in a good direction. But that was really how it came about, and the help I had in making it come about. But it really, both of those twists were very early in the development, as they were really essential to the story that was being told.
Oh my gosh, the empty
Wow.
blanket. The empty blanket.
The
You're
empty
like,
blanket. I'm like, "But the baby was crying. You just
yeah,
fed the baby."
I know.
Like,
Yeah.
I did not see it coming.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I love that you enlisted your daughters. I have a 13 and 15-year-old, 2 girls as well. So I'm, like, thinking about enlisting them. Like, would I be able to do that? Probably
Right.
not. You feel like your children are more literary than mine.
No.
That's really interesting.
Oh, well, Megan, we loved it. I mean, I read it on a flight. I just like
Mhm.
could not, I couldn't stop, but in the best
Mhm.
way of just soaking it up. I thought the descriptions, you felt like you were in her home. You felt like you were in the setting and you could totally imagine it all while
Mhm.
still being efficient with your descriptions. It was just
Mhm.
really well done. It's beautifully written,
Thank you.
and I can't wait to read more of your books now. I'm always excited when we read one and then I'm like, "Oh, good. Now I know this person and I have more to get
That's
to."
right. That's right. And I appreciate hearing that so much, because, and that immersive is a word that readers keep using. And
Yeah.
immersive was my experience writing it too. Like I truly felt immersed in this woman's mind, which was a very strange experience to have, especially when that woman is potentially losing her mind. But it was an immersive writing experience that I think does come across on the page. But the other word that just kept coming to mind as I was writing was empathy, right? I just wanted to create a story that would really just really immerse the reader in just empathy for not just Lulu, but for the other characters within the story too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bitsy, we didn't even get to
We didn't even get to
Bitsy.
Bitsy.
Oh my gosh, Megan, what a treat. Okay, can you tell us, is there anything else? We hate to put the pressure on you, like now we need more, 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 but we're Americans and that's our culture. So
Right.
what
That's
are
right.
you working on, anything that we get to be excited about?
Yeah, so I'm working on something that is out of contract. My editor does not even know the story yet. It was writing The Madwife, was the first time I'd written on deadline, and now I'm enjoying the freedom again of being outside of deadline, because I'm exploring something that is different. This one is modern and contemporary. It's set in the Midwest, where my heart is, where my hometown is. And so this one, there's not a lot to say about it yet, but I will say that I joke, this is not really the working title of the book, but I joke that the working title is, Are You There, God? It's Me, menopause.
Oh,
Oh,
great.
Yeah, so it's exploring a woman in that midpoint of her life, experiencing perimenopause and all of the weird things that come along with it, being in that sandwich generation where she's
Mhm.
caring for a father whose health is ailing, and then she also has a very angsty teenager. It's, it's that season so many of us find ourselves in where basically everybody needs us, but nobody wants us. And then it's
Ooh,
that question of that second coming of age for this character of what does that second half of life look like? And is she allowed to have a midlife crisis too?
oh
Wow.
my God. Everybody needs us, but nobody wants us. That was like a
Mhm.
real punch to the
I know, I'm like,
gut.
I need to write that down.
I
Please put that in the book. That should be the first line.
Oh, yeah. That could be the first
Wow.
line. I would be sucked in.
Oh,
Mm.
for sure. Well, this
Sucked.
was such a joy. Thank you so much
Thank you.
for
Yeah, thank
joining us.
you.
I'm just so excited to read more of your books. And again, we will have parts of your interview today on Twin Cities Live, and I will send it to Aubrey, and so that way she can get it to you.
Happy little Hoosiers, you two are. And if you're ever in Minnesota, Megan, you know the Twin Cities Live Studio is open. So if you're doing any book
Thank
tour
you.
events or anything,
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
let us know.
just let us know. We'd love to have you
I
in.
I appreciate that. Thank you. And listen, my heart is with all of you all right now too, with
Oh,
Thank
just
you.
thanks.
everything going on there. So I
Thank
hope
you.
that you're staying safe and warm as
Yeah.
well. But yes, you all have been on my hearts and minds.
We
So
very
Thank
much
you.
appreciate that. Thank
Yeah,
you
and
so much.
we just so appreciate your book because it brought people from all over our state together just to
good,
kind of do something, you know, that they love to do, which
good.
Yeah.
is
Yeah.
talk
A good
about reading,
distraction, right?
a
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
distraction, a little bit
Yeah.
of that. Yeah.
That's
Good.
important.
So
Okay.
thank
Thanks,
you.
All right.
Megan.
Thanks so
Okay.
much. Oh, wait, can I
Appreciate
ask one more question?
Yeah.
Always.
Can I know what book you're choosing next?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
I have it.
Oh, I've heard a lot of good things about that one.
we hold it
Okay,
up in
good.
unison. This is how we operate. Hello.
Nice.
It's funny that we have the mad wife and then my husband's wife.
I know.
Lots of wives.
Lots of,
So
there's a lot of them. I know. I
I
was
love that you
joking this
asked that.
morning. I was like, if my husband had a wife, I hope she could like start running the kids places and doing some laundry
Yeah.
and stuff.
And
It'd
if
be
she
Right?
really
looked
great.
like me, it's fine.
I know. I
Yeah.
don't even care.
Whatever. Okay, at least you stuck with a theme. So, all right. Thank you so much. Enjoy
Thank
the rest of your
you.
week.
Thanks,
Appreciate
you
it,
too.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.